Good morning, everyone. We apologize for the late start. We're starting a couple minutes after the hour. Thank you for being here. We're so excited to see you all here again on day 2 of the New Employee Equity Academy. A little note, you probably can see the note at the bottom of my screen where it says subtitles are currently available. Can you see that? Yeah, that shows up on your end. Okay. So that's why we started a little late. We were trying to problem solve and troubleshoot, and we could not get rid of that off my screen. So the subtitles are not going to display from our end of the screen, but you can enable those features on your end with Zoom. So should you need subtitles and you want to use subtitles, you can do that through your own Zoom settings. So with that, we're going to get started with our program. Since we're starting a little late, I get to turn it over to Dr. Donna Cooper. Thank you, Donna.
Good morning, everyone. We are glad to have you back today. And I hope that yesterday you learned a lot of information that was helpful and beneficial to you. And today we have a very full schedule. This is one of those days where you're going to hear from a lot of different people about a lot of different services. Today is all about what kind of support do we have for our students, and what kind of support do we have for you as new employees, whether you're faculty or classified staff member or an administrator, whatever your role is as you've come into the FCC family. We want to make sure that you know about as much as possible. And I know you won't remember everything we tell you today. There's not going to be a quiz at the end of the day to see if you retained as much of the fire hose as possible. But we want to get as many faces in front of you today so that you can connect people's face with the service so that you sort of know, oh, that's who that person is. So that when you see them in a meeting or in some other setting on campus, you'll be able to say, oh, yeah, I saw them and they do this, that, or the other. Excuse me. So we hope that you find today to be very beneficial. It's a lot of good information for your students. And you as well. We used to do a scavenger hunt, a face-to-face one on Flex Day. And I was reading back through a couple other Flex Day things just the other day for some reason. And I was looking at the comments we got, because we used to do this scavenger hunt on Flex Day where people could meet. And we had a few faculty members that would send people off to all different kinds of places, much more in depth than the one we did online yesterday. And it was interesting because many people said, I've worked here for 10 years and I didn't know where half of these places were. And so eventually we'll get back to being able to do some face-to-face things like that to help people know where to find different things on campus. But today is sort of like that. We're just bringing that scavenger hunt that we did yesterday. We're bringing a lot of those questions that you had on that to you today so that you get to hear from the very people that are behind all those web pages that you were looking at and the links that you were looking for yesterday. So to get us started today, the first thing we want to do, we have this great video that showcases a lot of the things on campus and actually kind of, oh, I guess I should go over the agenda first, huh, Ray? Should I go over the agenda first? As you can see here, there's a list of all of those different people that we're going to be hearing from today and that you're going to have a chance to hear about services. So take a note of some of all these names. My name's on here a lot. It's because I think I'm the Dean of Student Success and Learning. So there's a lot of things I'm connected to that are student support services that I'm going to share about today. And so we will take a break today at around 10:15 or so and give you a chance to grab some coffee or water or any of those kinds of things you want to do for a few minutes. And then we'll come back together and hear some more things. Right after the break, we're going to have Sally Potter, who's going to talk to us about navigating online and open educational resources and some of the things that we're doing on the campus for that. That's going to be really great. And then we'll finish up with some other information you need. You're going to have a chance to meet our Academic Senate President, our Classified Senate President, and our Associated Student Government President, or well, the Vice President is going to be here. The President couldn't be here. So they're going to be sharing with you. You're also going to get a chance to hear about the contracts in your unions. And I think that's valuable information for you to know. Everyone should know their contract. And then Ray will wrap us up this just before noon today. So we have a full schedule. So to get us started, because this is kind of a fun, upbeat video that kind of gives you an overview of campus and some of the support services and student success things that we do. So enjoy. And I'm going to wait for Susie to figure out the sound. Or is that yours, Ray?
I suppose it would help if I took my mute off. Let me try that again.
Ah,
Welcome to Fresno City College. As a student, there are resources here to help you succeed and focus on your educational goals. This includes how to get started and programs to support you and your needs in and out of class. Get help with registering for classes, ordering transcripts, or applying for graduation here at the admissions and records. Need money to pay for classes? Get help with some or all of your school expenses by visiting the financial aid office. There you can apply for various types of aid, such as grants, scholarships, work study, and loans. Meet with a counselor to develop a student educational plan here in the counseling center. You'll get help with choosing a major and planning what classes you'll need to graduate on time. Outside of class, there are many ways for you to excel in your studies through peer tutoring in a tutorial center, PATH Center for English support, and your writing center. Don't have a computer? Not a problem. Use the computers here in our computer lab to complete your assignments and print with a pre-purchased copy card. No matter what your circumstances are, FCC has programs and services designed to provide the additional support that you'll need to succeed in all your classes. Make college the best experience for you through the special accommodations provided by Save Your Students and Program Services. These include adaptive services, ASL interpreting, on-campus mobility assistance, note-taking, and test-taking. If you served our country, let FCC serve you by supporting your educational needs with staff trained to guide you here in our Veterans Resource Center. We also provide services for our international students. EOPS opens the door for students who have financial, educational, or language barriers. They offer academic counseling, advising, financial assistance to all students who qualify. CalWorks is another program that helps students who have children. They are dedicated to providing services to low-income parents who are currently receiving cash aid and seeking to become self-sufficient through education. Let's break the barriers for undocumented students here at the Dream Center. Here they provide academic support and admissions, financial aid, and counseling for new and continuing Dreamer students. Not only is FCC here to assist you with classes, there are many services to address your personal needs to make sure you cross that finish line and graduate. We know it's hard to learn when you're hungry. Ram Pantry is a free food store for currently enrolled students. Open every day, Monday through Friday. You can come grab a bite to eat or take some home so you can keep on studying. If you're feeling under the weather, FCC's nurses can help you feel better. The Health Services Office provides the clinic, over-the-counter meds, health assessments, and referrals. Life can be stressful, whether you're suffering from anxiety or adjusting to college or simply just need a safe place. FCC Psychological Services provides trained staff who are ready to listen and help. Ready to get involved in college life? Get your student ID card here at the Student Activities Office. And while you're here, check out the different athletic events, clubs, and other college activities you can enjoy here at Fresno City. Go Rams! Looking for a job? You can search for jobs here at the Career and Employment Center or on their website. They'll even help you develop a resume and practice interviews. So as you have seen, FCC caters to all your needs. All of these resources are at your fingertips. Just ask. You're not alone because FCC is your home away from home.
great. Thank you, Duran. So that Duran was our Associated Student Government President for a couple of years. He is going to Fresno State this fall, but something I think is interesting is how he said at the end that Fresno City is your home away from home. If you hear Duran's story, if you ever meet him, he's a bundle of energy, but his story is Fresno City College became his home. And this is the place where he felt comfortable and loved and welcomed and felt like he belonged. And that's what we aim to do for all of our students, is to try and create a place where they belong. And particularly faculty, or literally that first connection. A student walks into your classroom or logs into your Zoom room, and you have the opportunity to help them feel that like they belong and how to navigate the system and how to navigate what we do. So to get us started on that, I'm going to start with a list of different people that are going to talk about some of the services that Duran mentioned in this video. And the first one up for us today is Dr. Sam Montano, and he is the coordinator for our psychological services. And he's going to take a few minutes to talk about the services and what they do and how to contact him. And welcome, Dr. Montano. We're glad you're here.
All right, thank you for having me. So I made a slide here, fairly brief, some of the key points for you all who are going to be referring and contacting us at the clinic for any psych service needs. Coming back from COVID, this whole past year, we were doing virtual services. So we were doing telehealth. And we actually had really, really good success in providing services to students via HIPAA compliant Zoom. So coming back, we are doing sort of a hybrid schedule, as you can see. On campus, we'll be in our clinic, which is right above the bookstore. SC 216 is the room number to the office. We're going to be on campus Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays, 8 to 5. Remote services are going to be Tuesday and Friday. So that being said, although we have these specified days, we may have a student who really wants remote services, but their only availability is on a Monday. We can still do those remote services from our clinic here on campus. We offer individual, couples, and group therapy options. I think one thing that's really important for you all to know is we do use a short-term brief psychotherapy model, which most university and colleges utilize. Students get 4 to 6 free sessions. That's individual and couples, 4 to 6 free sessions. Our group therapy option, though, is unlimited. So if a student is interested in a group of ours or multiple groups of ours, they can attend for the entire semester. They can attend for their whole time at Fresno City if they want. And we're constantly updating our group therapy options. It really is a form of treatment that I think a lot of students are gravitating towards and liking a lot. We also do a lot of primary prevention. So when I say primary prevention, that's outreach, that's presentations, you'll see us on campus, you'll see us virtually providing presentations. Talking circles is something that we really prioritized this past year and a half and had great success. So you'll probably see a lot of flyers going around, things coming out of our PIO department, promoting our talking circles and our group therapy too. Talking circles, just because you will see quite a bit of those coming through the pipeline. Those are really based on the idea of community healing and collective healing. So it's not group therapy. We don't take notes during these things. These are more where we have students, even staff sometimes come together and talk about whatever issue we're covering. So a lot of times we do them around social justice issues, or big things that are going on in our Fresno community, our national community, and we just meet up either on person or over Zoom and just have kind of an hour where we talk openly. So those have been really well attended. Such topics have been things when the social injustice was really eaten up. Black Lives Matter. We've done things for DACA students. We actually have one scheduled for September 14th for our DACA students. So advertisement will be going out pretty soon for that. Other services that are important for new staff to know is we do offer crisis services. So these are for the students. The way that I like to say this, crisis services are really like the equivalent of picking up the phone and calling 911. Our crisis services are for high risk, high complexity, very acute issues. So this may be someone who's experiencing suicidal ideation. This may be someone who just experienced a recent assault. So they can walk into our clinic. You can walk them over to our clinic. Our staff has been really good about doing that. And we will see them right then, right there. On our distant days, unfortunately, due to HIPAA regulations, due to ethical and legality issues, On our remote days, we cannot provide those services. So if you have a student on a remote day that is experiencing a crisis-related issue, you can see I put the National Suicide Prevention number, the crisis text line here on this slide. But your best bet truly is going to be calling campus police. Our police are trained and do a really good job at going out and doing a risk assessment on folks. So the cool thing about our campus PD is they will also, let's say it is a distant class that you're in, they will go to the student's house. So they're not just stationed on our campus. They'll go to the house and do an assessment. So those are crisis services. We do psychological testing as well. This is where we may do a testing battery on a student, on a patient, to clarify diagnosis, increase treatment recommendations. We also do a lot of testing for ADHD. However, DSPS will probably talk about their testing because they also do testing. They primarily do learning disability testings, which we do not do in-house. We send those to DSPS. Another really important service that we offer, and I think more people have been taking advantage of this the past year and a half, is our consultation services. So you can call our main line, which is listed right here, and ask for a consult. Most of the time, if you call that number, one of our clinicians will pick up, and you can ask for a consult, say, hey, I have this student who voiced this, this, and this to me. I'd like to know what you think. And we'll give you that consult. So you can use our phone number. You can send me an email. It's samuel.montano@fresnocity.edu. I'll put that in the chat. I'm pretty good at responding to emails. I'm checking it multiple times throughout the day. So the consultation is for staff and for students too. You know, if they're worried about a friend, they can call and say, hey, my friend said this, what can I do? So that's a nice service there. Since I briefly brought up my staff, I do want to let you all know that our staff is housed by trainees. So they're all getting their doctorates in psychology. Myself and I have 2 part-time supervisors. We are all licensed psychologists in the state of California. We provide the training and supervision of our clinical staff. And it's housed by different levels of trainees. So we have practicum students who are in their 2nd, 3rd year of grad school. We have pre-doctoral interns who are in their final year of grad school. And then we have postdoctoral fellows who are actually now doctors, but just getting their final hours for state licensure. That's a bit about our staff. We also do a lot of referrals. So we have a lot of community resources and connections for our students. We also have all of this listed on our webpage. So our webpage really is going to be your go-to to see what's Fresno City Psych Services doing. We have some do's and don'ts for crisis for staff to see and review. Again, we have all of our community resources on there. We'll post all of our groups that we're running on there. Our request for services form is also on our website. It's the best, the quickest way to get a student connected to us. Direct them to our website. They'll click the request for services link. They'll fill out the form and we contact them really quickly, usually within a couple days. So the website really is the best option. If you're on campus though, and you want to walk a student over to us when we're on campus, they can also fill out the request for services in person. We have paper forms. So with that being said, that's really the nuts and bolts of what we do in a really quick kind of fast sort of way. So I hope that was good for you. I'm going to put my email in the chat. So if anyone has any follow-up questions or wants to use my email for consults, feel free to use that. I will say with consultation though, if it is high risk and you're thinking someone is at imminent concern for harm to self or others, I would really encourage you to even bypass us and call campus police. If you think they're very acute, if they're saying, I'm going to kill myself today, call campus PD, because if they come to us, we'll probably do that as well, if they're very, very acute. But with that being said, we really do have an open line with our staff, so feel free to use it. And thanks for having me today.
Thank you,
Dr. Montano.
Dr. Montano. Can you repeat once more? I know you said it near the beginning. Oh, never mind. I see it on the slide now. I was going to highlight that you were on campus, which days and which days were remote services. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew if you were going to be on campus and you're here on Monday, Wednesdays, or Thursdays, then their office will be open. And if you have students, you can do that. I know that our psychological services are very responsive and work very well with our faculty and our staff and our campus police department to help keep our students safe. So thank you very much.
Thanks. And there's one thing you just kind of reminded me. I think this is good to tell staff. Following off that primary prevention piece, if you want us to come out to your classroom and do a presentation, we do those all the time. I would say shoot me an email personally and say, hey, Dr. Montano, I'd like you to send one of your staff to come out and do a presentation on psych services or on how to cope with anxiety, how to deep breathe, sleep hygiene, you name it, any topic we can come out and talk to your class about. So we love doing those too. So shoot me an email if you want us to come out, and we'll have a quick turnaround with that. So thank you.
Yeah, and it's a great way to introduce the services to your students, because you never know when a student might be feeling stressed or feel like, have a crisis in their family or their life, and think this. So it's a good way to have them just to come speak in your classrooms to help students. I think it demystifies psychological services as well. The library partners has in the past partnered around finals time. We'll do stress release things and have speakers and stuff set up in the library where students are and so we've worked with the office to do some of those things with tutorial and the library. So I think the more we partner and can partner to help students be aware of the services we have that can help them as they navigate this new journey or the one they've been on for a couple of years, no matter what. So thank you again, Dr. Montano. We're so happy that you were able to join us this morning. So feel free to email him with many questions you might have today. So after today's presentation. So thank you. All right. I would like to now introduce Dr. Lily Goshi-Bessie. She is the coordinator for our health services, and she is going to be sharing with you this morning what those services are and how you can utilize them, how you can talk to your students. So I will turn it over to her. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Pleasure to meet all of you. So at Health Services, I'm sure most of you have stopped by to get your TB clearances. So for the student portion of it, we do provide quite a bit of services for students in person. We do counseling and education. Again, this is a limited list here, but you get a general idea. We do immunization reviews for students who are going through the health programs. We do vision hearing screening. So if you're concerned about a student maybe having a hard time seeing the board, maybe you're concerned about their hearing ability, you can always refer them to us. We can do a screening for them. We also do blood pressure checks. Students feel like maybe they're running a little high or maybe a little low. We can check them out, provide them some health information. We do TB skin tests and also risk assessment clearances. Again, these are just some of the items that we do provide. Some other resources we have in our office, we do have over-the-counter medication for students. So if you have a student who has a headache, maybe feeling a little stomach upset, they can come on over. We have those over-the-counter meds free for them. Also personal care items, feminine hygiene products, maybe someone needs a toothbrush, some healthcare needs, hygiene items we can provide for them as well. If a student does get injured on campus, we can assist them with getting student accident insurance. It's called the SANE, Student Accident Insurance Network. If they've fallen and maybe they don't have insurance, we can assist them signing up. There's a $50 deductible for that, as long as they weren't doing something inappropriate when they got injured. In our office, we also have quite a bit of brochures and pamphlets for students, ranging from dietary needs and concerns to exercise, self-care. So come on by and please take a look yourselves. There's quite a bit of pamphlets that maybe you're interested in as well, but we do have available for our students. And on our website, we do have quite a bit of resources. For injuries, if you have a student that ends up, a student, staff member, somebody that ends up being injured in your presence, whether in a classroom setting, you see them on campus, please contact our campus PD. They are considered our first responders on campus. So do not hesitate to contact them. That number should be located in each of the classrooms on the phone, by the phone. Also too, if you've witnessed an accident, please complete an accident report form. Those forms should be located with your supervisor. We also have it available on our website, but these forms need to be completed, submitted to the dean or to your supervisor, and forwarded to health services. We have this form available too on our website. So please, it's part of the process. You got to report something if you see someone get injured, and we do need to have a copy of that within 24 hours. Our location, we're located in the Student Services Building in room 112 at the lower level. We're only taking appointments only right now. We used to walk in, but because of COVID, we've had to maintain appointment only situation for safety. Our hours are listed there, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4:30, Friday from 8 to 1. Hours could vary due to staffing. So just an FYI, if you want to call us first ahead of time, I would recommend that. If you would like to send a student down to see us. Also, students can call, if not call us, they can email us and we get them scheduled for an appointment. Something for employees, keep in mind, if you do get injured on the job, please again, notify your supervisor. And we do have what we call company nurse. You may have already been informed of it, but they are our workers' comp. So if you get injured on a job, please, again, notify your supervisor and utilize our company nurse workers' comp. Does anyone have any questions at all about our services? If you do, please feel free to call us or email us, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Goshi, Bessie. It's a lot of information for us to know. Do you go to classrooms and do presentations, or do you have staff that do that, or what other communication sources do you have?
Yes, we have done outreach. Again, if an instructor would like us to do that, just give us a holler, and we'll be more than happy to help out. We have a little goodie bags to hand out as well. We have a lot of nail clippers, files, just nice health items that we can share with students, pamphlets and so forth. So yes, contact us. We can do some outreach, whether it's in person or Zoom, definitely.
Great,
I
thank
have
you
one
very
question.
much. Oh, a question, yes.
Yes, I was wondering what services get used the most for you. I don't know if they've differed in the pandemic than when we were on campus.
They've differed quite a bit because of the pandemic. Before, we'd see people who we have illnesses, and we can't, people who are sick really should not be coming on campus. So that's kind of eliminated some of those ailments. Majority are TB clearances, immunization reviews for like child development, the health programs, and of course employees. We see quite a bit of employees, but we've kind of been limited there. We also do, we order lab titers for students, so we see quite a bit of those too, people who need to have their immunizations evaluated. But yeah, that's pretty much it right now.
If we were adjunct and we're now full-time, do we need to get a new TB test? If you have it on record?
If you're new, if you had a break of employment, yes, you need to come by and get assessed again.
But if there's no break?
No break, no. It's just every 4 years. If you're currently employed, it's just every 4 years.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Yeah, you can always come by, or give us a call. We can check for you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you. And there's the links on the slide, and she is pretty easy to get in touch with. So thank you for coming and letting everybody know about the services.
Super. Thank you again, everybody. Take care.
All right. Okay. I guess I should not mute myself while I'm in the middle of talking. That is probably a bad idea. All right. So next up is me. So I'd like to introduce what I do. I oversee the library, learning support services, the Career and Employment Center, and our adult education programs. And what I would like to do today is give you sort of an overview of some things, and I'm going to show you on our website how to navigate to the different areas and what that looks like. So the first is, of course, the library. If you haven't been inside our library yet, I strongly encourage you to come in and see the building. It is the most beautiful building on campus. When you walk into the reference room, you will be transported to a place in history. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, you will think you are at Hogwarts. Those are the most common responses we get from that library, our main reference room. So if you're on campus and you would love to see the building, we're open from 9 to 4, basically every day, except the weekends. And we would love to have you come in and give you a little tour if you are a new faculty member. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the services in a few minutes. The other area that's housed also in the library building, or primarily in the library building, is our tutorial services. We actually have 5 tutoring centers, and I'll explain more about them later, but we have our English PASS Center. So they cover English, EMLS, and linguistics. So those are their 3 areas where they assist students, and they have both embedded tutors who are in the classroom with students, as well as drop-in tutoring for English, EMLS, or linguistics. Then we also have our math support center, which is similar to English, but it's for math. And they also offer support to some of the physics and chemistry classes because of the math. But they also have embedded tutors that are tutors who are in the classroom with the students taking the class. They've already taken it, but they're in the same class of the students they're tutoring at the same time the students are. They have outside study sessions, and they also have drop-in tutoring for math. We have our main tutorial center, which handles drop-in tutoring for pretty much everything except math and English. But students can come in and have support for pretty much any class, and we have tutors for specific subjects. And then we have our writing and reading center, which handles the writing and reading needs of every subject on this campus, except for English and linguistics and ESL. But if you have a philosophy class, political science class, Spanish class, any class that's going to have any kind of a writing assignment, our writing and reading center is extremely helpful and beneficial to your students. And then we have what we call extending the class, which is our version of supplemental instruction. So our SI for short. So our version of that, so ETC is where we have an embedded tutor in specific classes, particularly those classes that have had a high failure rate. And so we embed a tutor, and the tutor leads study sessions outside of the class to help improve students' success in the class. And I'm just going to brag a little bit about what we do. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of visits every year in all of these services. And we help students improve their grades significantly. For those classes that have embedded tutors like ETC, math, and English classes, students who come to 3 or more study sessions improve by 1 letter grade. So if you want them to pass your class, this is the place to get the support that they're going to need to do that. For example, we did a study a few years ago. We had like 7,000 over 7,000 were the number in the study, to look at students who are in a high failure risk class: political science, chemistry, biology, philosophy, psychology, places where we have ETC leaders. And we wanted to know, because a lot of times people say, well, only students who are going to pass the class go anyway. So they, instead of a B, they get an A. Instead of a C, they get a B. And that's true. We do have a lot of those students, but we wanted to see, what about students who weren't going to get an A or a B or a C? And we wanted to look and see what happened. And here's what we discovered. Students who we considered college ready back before we had our new system, but we considered them college ready because they were ready to take English 1A. And if they were college ready and they came to tutoring, yes, they went from a B to an A or a C to a B, if they came 3 or more times. Students who were college ready but didn't come to tutoring made C's and B's and D's. Students who were not college ready, like they weren't really ready for English 1A, they were struggling in that area already. And if they came to tutoring, they passed at the same rate as students who were prepared. So if a student comes to tutoring, they will improve their grade. They will do better. They will pass their class. So I strongly encourage you to utilize the services. You don't have to, you used to have to fill out a recommendation for your classes. You don't have to do that. Any student can come to tutoring, whether they've been referred or recommended. But this is a place you can use Starfish, which you're going to be learning about as you go along. But you can use Starfish to raise a flag on a student and recommend they go to tutoring. That flag will go to the tutoring center and they will reach out to the student and say, the student gets an email that you raised the flag, but they'll reach out and say, hey, your math teacher thinks it would be helpful if you came to tutoring. We just wanted to introduce ourselves and see about getting you scheduled to come in. So it's a great system, and we're able to help students to be more successful. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about each of these programs in a few minutes. So I'm going to, Ray, if you will stop sharing, I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you how to actually get to where you need to go. So if you are on the Fresno City College website, for the library, we have this clever little tool right here. It's called Library. When you click on that, it's going to take you directly to the library page. And this is what you will see. And here is the page that will help you. If students want to have information about technology loans and returns, we have a library guide or a LibGuide. You'll hear about those right here that they can click on, and it will help them to do that. We have a welcome video to the FCC library that our librarians did. We have a 24/7 chat with a librarian. We don't staff it 24/7. You see the hours here that we're updating right now. Actually, I think I have a thing to approve our hours to update on the website. But we do have it available 24/7. So it's possible if a student needs to chat about something at 1 a.m., they will get a librarian from somewhere else in the United States, from Harvard, from Columbia, from another community college in California. It's part of a consortium that we are involved with, and we answer questions for students from all over the place as well. And so it's available to a student if they have a question that they need to ask a librarian. But our librarian staff it quite a bit during the week. Then here it talks about how to find books. We have frequently asked questions. Our librarians have done a ton of webinars for students to help them know how to navigate things. And so you can use those in your classroom, especially the first week or two to get them familiar. Request a wrap session. So we have a research assistance program. A student can request a 1-hour meeting with the librarian who will focus only on their research and help them as they're trying to narrow down their sources to get it from 5,792 when they put in their topic down to perhaps 90, so that they have a better chance of actually completing their research. So these are good things for you to recommend your students to do. If you have questions, you can contact the you can contact the librarians. We also have a library guide here that's just for faculty. So if you want to know more in depth about the library and you want to just check it out over the next few days as you're finishing prepping for the beginning of the school year, this is a place you want to go. It has links to all kinds of things. It talks about how to access stuff for the library and what you need to do. We also have evaluating sources guide. We have a LibGuide on that. We have some research guides. So we tell them how to research from off campus and what they need to do. The other big thing that we have, Fresno City College Library made a commitment a number of years ago that we would provide a copy of every required textbook in the library so students could use it in 2-hour blocks for free if they couldn't afford their textbooks. You're going to hear in a little bit about how we're also pushing and moving towards open education resources so that we don't have to provide a copy of every single textbook that's required on campus. And Sally Potter is going to talk about that, but we do have textbooks on reserve. We will be open for face-to-face in the fall. We have been since last October, but we'll be open face-to-face for students to come in and use the reserve materials. But we also have the way for students to do it online. We've added an online service called BibliU, which is a reserve textbook online resource. And we also have where they can request. If they click on this link, it takes them to a form. They can request and they can, excuse me, get access. We can scan and we're able to help them get access. I'll be careful what I say since we're recording. We can help them get access to those materials that they need. So that is our library. It's a beautiful place. As you can see, it's a beautiful building in this picture. And I really I think it would be great if you came and did a face-to-face with us. And our librarians are so much fun. We do things for Halloween. We have a video somewhere on the site. That's our last one during the pandemic where we did a Star Wars theme. So we love to have fun with our students. Our librarians will come to your classroom. They can do bibliographic instruction, but they can do it online. We can do it face-to-face. You can show, they have videos that they've already created. So there's a variety of ways to learn that. All right. The other area I want to show you here is our tutoring options. If you go to academics, we haven't gotten one of these little things up here like the library, but we're working on it. So you go to academics and you'll see here tutoring options. And this is the page that you will get. You'll see all of our centers are posted here. The other thing to know is that students have access to this directly from their Canvas page. So as you're creating your classes, there's a thing called the Student Hub, which has all the resources. We've worked to putting all of those resources together. So there's a Student Hub, and then, but they have access to our Student Success Tutoring page that also gives them access to all of this information. So they don't really have to go to our website because it's inside their Canvas page. It's on the navigation tool. It's already logged in there. It's already a part of that. But if they're not logged into Canvas, they can get to it here. If you see here, you see we have online Math Support Center in Zoom, online Path Center in Zoom, the Readings and Writing Center in Zoom. These three centers, you click on the link and it takes you immediately into the Zoom room, like immediately. So I forget that sometimes, and I'm clicking to make sure our links work, and I open up and it's like, boom, oh, here I am. I already see all of you. So, but they have waiting rooms, and then they move students to breakout rooms to help them when they're working on specific things. They do group sessions, they do individual sessions. So there's a lot of things to see here. Extending the class is a little different because it is not drop-in, and it is only by appointment with that tutor. The class group does appointments. So theirs is a little bit different, but they have Zoom tutoring rooms. And so if a student is embedded in a class, they will be in the Canvas class. They'll be listed there. They can email students. We have a special classification for our tutors in Canvas so that students don't mess with your stuff, but they're able to email the students through Canvas. They can announce their study session times. They can communicate that way with students so that we try and break down as many barriers as possible. And then the main tutorial center, because it's drop-in, they click on the Canvas page and that will give them access to the different Zoom rooms that they have available. We are in the process of redoing this page. We've done some research this last year and working on changing some things to make it more, it's going to be more discipline based, so that if a student needs English, they'll click on English. If a student needs tutoring in biology, they'll click on the biology link and it'll have the information they need. So I just wanted to make sure that you all had access to this information and that you understood sort of where to find it and to talk with your students about it. Again, any of the support staff will help you with any of these things. I do want to show you one more page on campus life, and that's the Career and Employment Center. I know it's not on the list of things, but the Career and Employment Center has two services. We have career services and we have employment services. And so if you hear students that are looking for jobs, we have this cool thing. I know, don't worry about the scrolling, that's getting changed, but we have Job Speaker. It's our jobs posting board. So it's where students can go to create a profile and apply for jobs and look for jobs. And we have employers that want to hire our students specifically. So this is a good resource for them. They have classes that they do that students can take. They have webinars and workshops and all kinds of things. So if you missed our virtual job fair, we have sessions recorded by all of these employers. And so there's a lot of things here that I just want to give you a heads up on. Students can make an appointment to help them work on their resume, to help them learn how to do a job search, to help them do a cover letter, to practice interviewing skills. Our career assessment counselors can make appointments and actually do a career assessment to find out if they're even in the right major. Maybe they're not. Maybe they picked it because that's what their friend was doing. We have some people who pick accounting or anthropology because it's the first thing on the list and they're doing the application and they have to put in a major and they look at the list. Oh, accounting. Okay, I like math. Okay, accounting. Or we have a lot of students who pick nursing who really want to be in healthcare, but nursing's like the only thing. They don't realize you can be a computer analyst in healthcare. You can be human resources in healthcare. You can be a nurse, you can be an administrator, you can be in human resources. There's so many areas to healthcare that they just think, oh, well, I have to be a nurse if I want to be in healthcare. So we have lots and lots of resources to help students. And I hope that you will definitely check out with our tutoring center coordinators. We have a coordinator for each of the 5 centers, and then we have 5 librarians who can help you with any of that kind of work. If you're a new faculty member and you want to know what's in the library collection for your specific discipline, contact the librarian. They will be able to, they each have collections that they are specialists in. Don't ask me to tell you what they are because I don't know, but they do. So they'll be able to say, oh, Linda Kabashagawa, her area is art. That's one of her collections that she is an expert on. So they can help you navigate what we have in the collection. If there are new books that you would like to add to the collection that we have, we can do that. That's part of what we do. We're happy to help you out with that. So that's just a great brief overview of our services and what we do and what we have available. Let's see, Susie says, I'm going to read the questions that are here. Research methods class in the spring. Yes, we do using the library presentations in the classroom and at the library for a single class session. Yes, so you can make it. I do know who does that. Linda Kabashagawa is our lead for that. And she will schedule you. We have an instructional computer lab that we can schedule it in. We also can do it via Zoom with your students. And I believe she also has recorded one of her sessions, her bibliographic instruction sections, but she can help you with that. So, so that's us. So I'm happy to have been able to share that with all of you today. All right. Any questions right now? If not, I'm going to move us on to our next person. All right. So I want to introduce Susan Ariola. She is the director for our disabled students programs and services, and she is here today to share with us all of the things that she does to help support our students. Thanks. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, everyone. All right, so I have a couple of bullet points. I will be sharing my screen and sharing our website, but ultimately you see our acronym DSPS and what it stands for, the Disabled Students Programs and Services. So ultimately what we do is we want to make sure that students with disabilities have access to all of our activities and our programs on campus. And we want to make sure that they are reaching their full potential. And I kind of was looking up some stuff because with this long presentation, this 3 days of presentations that you are all having to sit through, the adult attention span is only 5 minutes. So I want to be quick and concise. And if you have ADHD, right? So if you have a student in your class, or if any of you have ADHD, the attention span is only about 2 minutes. So I want to make sure that I'm quick, and I want to make sure that you have the resources. As you know, congratulations with your new position. And if you need support, I want to be able to help you find your way. So with that being said, can I share my screen, Ray? I know that you were going to do that, but if I could do it, it might be a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I think you, let me stop sharing.
Okay.
You should have screen sharing access.
Okay, perfect. So here is our website here. Let's see. Yes, perfect. So I went right to, so you would go to Student Services and click on here, the Disabled Students Programs and Services. We have something called the virtual lobby. So this is something brand new. We have our hours listed, lots of different hours. We have extended hours for the beginning of the semester, and then for August, and each month will change depending on the need. But faculty, staff, and students can click on this orange link right here and get connected with somebody in our office. Instead of a phone call, you can also phone call us, but you can jump in here and you can meet with a staff member, you can talk with a counselor, and if you need that additional help and support in regards to your student that might be in your class or your course, or just random questions that you might have for us. We also have here on the tab here, we have faculty resources. So if you click here, this page is extensive. Lots of information on, number one, accommodations and all the different things that we offer. So this is what we offer to students. And then this kind of gives you a brief overview of what note taking is, or seating, or sign language interpreters. I do have a tab here for syllabus. This might be something that you might be interested in. All of you probably know you need to have some type of statement in regards to DSPS services. So this is just a sample and that you can add to your syllabus. So that is in here. We also have something called AIM. So this is the most important. You want to make sure that, one, this is how students request accommodations each semester. And then it generates something that's called an FNL, a faculty notification letter. You will receive this via email. And this is where you will find out which students in your course have an accommodation. Faculty, in order for you to access this information, you will need to upload the AIM app through your faculty portal. There is some instructions here. And then there is also, if you click down here, faculty notification letter. It gives you a brief overview of what that is and how to view it. Lots of information, right? And then if you click here, there's actually, hopefully it shares. Can you all see this? Yes, hopefully, okay. So it gives a two-minute video on how to find in the apps catalog and how to download your faculty app that you will need for to access AIM and access the FNL that you will need to understand what accommodations that your students may need in your course. So again, lots of information. You don't need to know about that. Let's see, where am I at? Faculty. So I went briefly over AIM. That's our accessible information management system that provides the accommodations not only to our students, but of course to faculty, so they understand what students are in their courses and what accommodations are needed. You have to download the faculty notification letter in AIM in order to find out what those accommodations are. That's just a brief overview. I gave you information on how to find resources for faculty, or a variety of resources for students with disabilities. And our upcoming Flex Day presentation will be on Friday, which I know all of you will be attending. And our presentation is AIM for instructors and how to support DSPS students. And that is at 2:30 to 3:45. So, and we will be going more in depth in regards to AIM and the FNL, sorry, and how to support your students with disabilities. Congratulations and welcome to Fresno City. Any questions?
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Susan,
Quick question.
I don't know if anybody has any questions that they,
I do. Quick question.
okay.
You mentioned 2 minutes attention span.
Mhm.
What if you don't have DHE, or I don't know how you call it? What's the attention span for
The average adult is 5 minutes.
average?
So
5
it
minutes.
depends if you have a learning disability, a psychological disability. It can vary depending on what your disability is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My suggestion, if you have any other questions in regards to AIM and how to access the faculty notification letter or how to download any of the information, would be to attend our Flex Day presentation. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Susan. All right. So we think talking about attention spans and how all of you have been sitting here patiently for 45 minutes listening to all of us talk about different things this morning. We think it is time to go ahead and take a break. It's a little bit earlier than what's in the schedule, but it's a great time for us to do that right now. I would like to say that we put the link to the Flex Day registration. If you have not already registered for Flex Day, please do so that they can anticipate who's going to be in the different breakout rooms. If you're not familiar with Flex Day, I'll give you just a 2-minute thing about it. And that is on Friday. And it is a requirement for full-time faculty to have 5 hours of Flex Day. So the faculty, we have a professional development work group that helps to put together the Flex Day sessions, and they're presented by faculty and staff and administrators, and an option and things for you to pick to choose to go to. So if you haven't done that, and they're always fabulous. I mean, we always have great sessions. So if you haven't done that, please do that. All right, so let's take a break and we'll be back here at 10:15. All right, we will see you then. All righty, I think we'll start calling everybody back to rejoin us for our next section. I'll get that word out in a minute. I hope everybody had a chance to walk around a little bit, get something to drink, take care of any, emergencies that might be going on, like they are in my building. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you Sally Potter. Sally is, I'm not sure what Sally's title is. She's a faculty member. I'll say that. She teaches English and linguistics and ESL, EMLS. She has also been very instrumental in our open education resource activities, with our Title V grant. She also works with the statewide academic senate to work on OER issues and represents us very well in that capacity. She is a very talented instructor and knows so many things about Canvas that I don't want to inundate her with all of your questions, but I'll just tell you, if you're really struggling with something and you might want to know something about teaching online, I would go ask Sally Potter, because she can provide you with a lot of really good resources and information. So this section is, she's going to talk to you about helping students navigate online. And I'm pretty sure she's going to mention our OER project that we have going on this year. And I'll turn it over to you, Sally.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Okay, so yeah, I want to share with you really quickly the main purpose that I am here is to share with you some information about helping students to navigate online. And I have been given almost a full hour, which is really kind of exciting for me. So I have a lot of information to share with you. And it could be, you know, a little bit overwhelming for you. So just, you know, realize that all of this information is on the Padlet. So I have, yeah, I'm going to go through some slides. All of these slides are going to be up there. In addition to that, I have a document. And I believe that Susie is going to plop that Word document into the chat right now. The Word document, I believe she's going to also put that on the Padlet. So if you lose it or misplace it, it is going to be on that Padlet for you to find, you know, later on. So don't worry about that. In addition to that, if you know, lose it or you can't find it, just email me, okay? And I have no problem. I'll give it to you. All of this stuff is like saved on my, you know, in my favorites. I can give it to you in a second. So don't hesitate to ask me for it. But before we get into that part, yes, I do want to really quickly, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I really quickly want to show you this really exciting project that we are going to be undertaking for the fall regarding open educational resources. And I'm really quickly going to share this. Okay, so I'm going to put this into the, I'll do that in just a second, but I'll put this in the chat right here. Okay, so this is a page, is actually part of our library page. And we have what we're calling the Open Educational Resources Award Program. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna plop this link in the chat in just a second, so you'll be able to check this out. This has the information about the timeline. Do not pay too much attention to the dates, because those are going to be changing. We're going to solidify the dates. Donna doesn't necessarily know this right now, but we're Linda Kobayashi-gawa, I call her Linda K because my tongue is lazy. And Donna and I are going to sit down and kind of solidify those. So yeah, so those are not finalized yet. But all the information about the award program is here if you want to take a look at that. But basically what this is an incentive program for stipends for faculty. And there are 3 different categories, 3 different options. So adopting OER materials. There's also curating, which means kind of taking bits and pieces of already existing OER materials and kind of putting them together to create a new resource. And then the other option would be writing something from scratch. It could be like a textbook, but it could also be something like making like PowerPoints for an existing resource, or creating videos for your course, or like test banks to go along with an existing resource. So all the information is here, the application, and all of that is there. Linda Kay and I are doing a Flex Day presentation. So if you are interested in learning about this, I encourage you to sign up and come to our Flex Day presentation. I think it's at 1 o'clock. Well, anyway, you can see it on the Flex Day schedule, and you can sign up for that and come. We're going to talk about OER and, kind of the basics of OER and what that is, and, how to find OER for your classes, go over that. And we're going to spend a lot of time going over this grant and how to apply and how to, tap into these funds and, and all of that. So if you're interested in that, do come and we'll be able to share all of this information. Okay, so that is that. And here is that information. Okay, so now what I want to do is, I think this is, yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, so as,
Callie,
yes.
we're seeing your presenter mode.
Okay, so let's see. That's
Display
not,
settings.
yeah, okay, so let me maybe maybe this one. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. 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 So let me tell you, yeah, so Donna mentioned I'm a full-time faculty member, and I'm in the humanities division. My title, okay. So right now I have a little release time. I am working for the ASCCC, Academic Senate, the OERI, Open Educational Resources Initiative. I am the Area A Regional Lead. Have a little bit of release time for that. And then in addition to that, for this coming year, I'm overseeing this OER grant that we're doing. And so my title for that, we're gonna call that the Fresno City College OER Faculty Coordinator, okay? And then normally I teach, I'm in the EMLS Linguistics Department, and then I also teach English 1A. Okay, so yes, many things have changed since March 2020. And of course, we've all gotten better at teaching online. Many students have gotten better at handling online work. However, many students have given up on taking online classes. Some have just decided that they don't want to do it, and they're going to wait until we come back face to face. And I've had conversations with a lot of students about that. So we have to kind of keep that in mind. But what I want to do today is kind of share with you what we've learned so far, and just kind of keep in mind that we're sort of in the middle of learning these things, kind of in the middle of discovering these things. What I'm going to share with you are some kind of overarching principles, and then also some very specific things that you can, use and employ in your classes starting this week. Okay, so let's see here. There we go. Okay, so here's our agenda, and this is what I want to cover today. So I want to just really quickly kind of present some research to you, just really like an overview, and just kind of speed through that, give you just a couple things to kind of maybe go back to if you want to take a deeper dive. And then I have a framework for you for humanizing, we call humanizing your online courses. And that's really what the research points to. And we're going to go into that a little bit. And then I have some tips for you and some really concrete ideas, some really specific things that you can just, turn around and use right away. And then I have a checklist at the very end that I want to share with you. And those are some things that, you can use to kind of start your semester. And it's not going to be anything that's like set in stone, more like kind of guidelines or some ideas that you can use to just kind of make a good impression or kind of start off on the right foot with your students. So I'm going to give you a lot of information, and just, again, realizing that for some of you, especially for those of you who have been teaching online for a long time, this may be old news, maybe not, not too much new here, or you may learn a couple of things, but for some of you, this might be very overwhelming. There might be a lot here. So just kind of absorb what you can. You don't have to take, notes on everything. Don't feel like you have to remember all of this. Just try to absorb as much as you can, and remember that all of this information can be found on the Padlet. It's all on the document. It's all in the PowerPoint, and you can always come to me. We have an excellent instructional designer. I'm going to give you her contact information at the end. If you missed my email address at the beginning, I have that at the end also. Questions. We do have, like I said, almost an hour. I cannot see the chat, although I can see that there is a question in the chat right now. So if there's something that you want to ask and you feel comfortable doing it, you can just shout out your question. I think that'll be okay. And go ahead and interrupt me. I don't mind. If you want to, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, if you want to type your question in the chat, and then maybe Susie, if you feel like it's something that you want to interrupt me and you can ask, that's perfectly fine. Or I'll try to remember to stop every few slides, and then we can ask for questions. I didn't put, I only put a question slide at the very end, so I'll try to remember to do that.
That was my question.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it, James.
If you want to use, if you plan on using OER in courses, do you still need to put a textbook on the COR?
Okay, so your question is on the course outline of record, do you have to use only those textbooks that are listed on that COR, or can you use an OER or even something else that's not listed there? That's your question, right?
Actually, it was just, do you have to actually list a textbook there still if you intend to only use OER?
Like, so Sally, I think he's asking that when you fill out the course outline of record and you have to put in the book, if you're using OER, do you have to list a textbook, or can you just put OER in that section on the course outline of record?
Yeah, exactly, Donna.
Yeah, so when you're doing the course outline of record, when you list the textbooks, there are a couple of choices, right? So you can if you list it as required, then and this is a department decision, okay? So the department will decide if it's listed as required. That means that every single section has to use that text, no matter what. Most departments don't do that. Most departments list them as like recommended, I believe is what they check. And then what that means is like something of the equivalent of that. And so that means that it's, it's kind of the discretion of the instructor to find something that's the equivalent of that. Now you want to work together with your department colleagues, especially your chair, to make sure that the materials that you're choosing, whether it's OER or anything, is, you know, acceptable and appropriate for that, that course.
But they don't have to put a book in there if they're using OER. If the department's decided to use OER, they can just list OER, or do they have to list what those things are?
That's a kind of a department
Okay.
decision. Yeah, that's a department.
Yeah, I think he's a department of one.
Yeah,
so.
I'm the department, so.
What department is it?
CAD.
Say
CAD.
again?
Computer
CAD, computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's talk later about this.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to piggyback on that,
Mhm.
Sally, to say to all of you, if you're using OER, when you do your textbook for the bookstore order, please put that information on there, because we in the library are waiting for people to list what their books are, so we know which books to get for the reserves. So if you're using OER, that's fine. Just put that on the bookstore form so the bookstore knows to code that an OER class, and we're not waiting for, you know, 37 faculty to order their books. So that's the other piece to that. So, all right.
Yes, and where do you where's that form located? That's in Canvas, right? Yeah, so that's the little left-hand side menu that you choose it there, and then you have an option to select OER from that side. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So if there's so if there's anything here, just that you have questions on, yeah, don't hesitate to email me about anything. Yeah, okay, so yeah, let's go on. Okay, so here is a snapshot of the research, and I'm not going to read through it all. I will say that I predict that after this past year, there's going to be a lot more studies that are going to come out. Okay, there's a lot of academics that were locked up in their houses with not that much to do, that will be writing a lot of papers that we'll all be reading. And, you know, so there may be some new conclusions come, you know, that we'll see. But right now, the TLDR is that there is a very direct correlation between students perceiving, and that's kind of the key there, students perceiving a caring, engaged instructor is leading their class and better student outcomes. And when the better student outcomes that we're talking about here include persisting through the course, and then also higher GPAs. So basically what that means is that when students feel like they're part of like a classroom community with a teacher at the helm who cares if they do well, then they're going to do well. And that is like the secret sauce right there. One really interesting tidbit that I noticed from this COP paper that I have referenced here is that there's a really interesting disparity between the faculty perceptions and the students' perceptions. So probably not a huge shocker that students and faculty are seeing things differently. But basically, and this was a study that just focused on Latinx students. So basically, when they asked faculty why these students weren't doing as well in the online classes as they did in face-to-face classes, the faculty's answers were that these Latinx students were not prepared. They weren't as motivated. They didn't have tech skills, and they didn't have English language skills. Okay, so that was the faculty's answers. Now, when they asked the students, how come you didn't do as well in your online classes as you did in your face-to-face classes? The students' answers were that the instructors didn't care as much. They weren't as available to me, and I never was able to form a relationship with them. So just something to think about as we kind of go through here, okay? Okay, okay, here we go. So this is a webinar that I wanted to just share with you, and I'm giving you the link here for this Cora webinar. And Cora stands for Center for Organizational Responsibility and Advancement. And if you haven't heard Cora mentioned before, you're going to hear it a lot around Fresno City. We have a partnership with them. We use a lot of their resources, and they're absolutely excellent. This is a really good webinar. It talks about general teaching practices, but it also gets into some specifics. So if you have an hour and a half, I really recommend listening to it. It's not too intense, but it does just kind of like, you know, talk about all kinds of really good things. You're not going to have to take like a bunch of notes or anything. You'll notice the date on it, March 27th, 2020. So you can think about like where our minds were, you know, what was happening at that time. I know for me, at least, I was in kind of a bit of a shock, you know, at that time. And also I was just, you know, trying to find every single bit of, you know, information and resource that I could, you know, just like trying to absorb every single thing that I could to try to figure out what to do. And when I watched this, I just remember light bulbs going off for me. I had really, you know, at that time, been very steeped in distance education for a long time. I have been teaching distance ed classes, online classes, for a really long time. I think my first online class that I ever taught was in, around like 2002. It was terrible, very, very bad. And I've learned a lot since then. I just was thrown into this class at Fresno State and it was horrible. And since then I've had training and learned so much, but and you know, at that time I was kind of just starting to learn about equity. But I couldn't quite kind of make the connection for myself about how to apply equity principles in my online classes. And when I watched this webinar, it was just so eye-opening, and it really connected the dots for me. The big takeaway for me, at least, was that the key to helping students in any format, really, whether it's online or face-to-face, is creating the connection with them, right? So being proactive in reaching out to them instead of waiting on the students to ask me for help. So like trying to foster a learning community in my classroom where I'm a facilitator of learning instead of like dispensing knowledge to them. And, you know, I'm an ESL teacher by trade. And so that's how I was trained to teach as a facilitator. So it's what I always strive for in my face-to-face classes. I mean, I don't always succeed, but I'm always working toward that. And this kind of facilitator role, it's not anything to do with, you know, rigorousness or dumbing down content. Oh gosh, sorry. It's really about like connection and relationships and being this like proactive, like really being proactive about creating that inner classroom. It's a really easy thing and kind of a natural thing to do when you're like standing in a room with students and, you know, you're showing them your personality, you're showing them, you know, your empathy, and you're right there in front of them, and they can see you and they can get to know you. The trick is transferring that to online. That's kind of the part that had eluded me. The good news, though, is that there are some really good ideas out there, some great ideas, and some really smart people, really creative people that have come up with some just really cool ideas. And Canvas actually has some kind of like shortcuts and hacks that make it pretty easy to do. Okay, so before we get into some of those shortcuts, I want to show you a video of a student. This is a little testimonial, and this is this fellow named Daniel Contreras. And I want you to watch about 4 minutes of this. This is actually pre-COVID. This is from 2018. And he's from Solano Community College. And he is going to talk about an experience that he had in an online creative writing class with this one particular instructor. And I really just want you to watch it for about 4 minutes, because I want you to hear in his own words just how much of an impact these practices had on him. Okay, so hopefully this works here. Let's see.
As I struggled with this one particular class, I did fine with quite a few other ones, but I came into a creative writing course that was online, and it just basically engaged all of my weaknesses as far as education is concerned. You know, long assignments, you know, that are a little bit more, I guess, broad and, you know, creative, and it just took a lot of writing and stuff like that. So as I started to fall behind and trying to balance like student government and everything together, something really stood out. This particular professor I had, it was a critical thinking class for writing. It was 004. And he noticed that I hadn't logged in, I think, for the week or something, and he just checked in. And it sort of surprised me because I hadn't really been reached out to by a professor in that way, even in an actual classroom, you know, a physical classroom. And so that sort of just like stood out to me. And I said, oh, wow, you know, someone's like paying attention. And on an online class, I mean, that was just an odd kind of feeling, just to say, you know, this was beginning to feel more engaging and more, I guess, direct than even a physical class was. And as it continued, and I continued to struggle, and I would kind of bounce back and forth, this professor just began to just really blow my mind with his level of concern, how he would reach out regularly, check in with me, and he did a couple of things where he even offered to give me some time management coaching, you know, pull me off to the side. And I had never met such a professor that had such I call it like a culture of like completion and caring. It's like, this guy wanted me to finish this class and do well. And he was showing it with so much energy and so much like passion just through Canvas, you know? I mean, and so even though it's not a physical class, I hadn't received so much direct interest, you know? And I thought, you know, is this because of Canvas or is it because of this professor, you know? And I think because I've had other online courses, there are professors that are so engaged with the students, and then there are others who have like 120 students, and I can't imagine how they go through so many or grade so many assignments and all that. So in this, you know, more kind of writing arena, he's so expressive with his emails, his messages, that it really rallied me, you know, and it really helped me to connect and reinvest. And because what it came down to was like all of the information is in the book, right? And it's all in the library and it's all on the web now. And really the biggest impact that these courses have comes through what that professor brings to the table, I feel. And I think that's what really stood out in that instance, and what I suddenly realized might have been missing other times, you know. it's not that I have like a particularly like personal connection with this person. It's just the amount of concern and his approach. So I don't know if he had like stock emails that he was just dropping my name into, you know, to kind of manage all of his students.
Okay, let me stop it right there and let that sink in for a while. And then while we look at just this word that I used earlier, humanizing your online course. It just means showing students that the online course they're taking, that they're taking right now, it's being taught by an actual real life human, not a computer. Okay. You know, so basically, whether they succeed or they don't succeed, that it matters to you as a human. And so how you do that is you're showing your presence, you're showing empathy, and you're showing your awareness, okay? And so that's how you humanize your course, that you show that you're a human. Okay, so now I'm gonna give you specifics, I promise. All righty. So there's two types of presence. And actually, this is from Title V of California Ed Code. The language is regular and effective contact between instructor and students and among students. And I've linked it here, and then it's also in the document that Susie shared, just in case you want to go into the actual Ed Code and look at the full context. But the idea here is that for distance education classes, according to California Ed Code, in online courses, instructors must do these two things. You have to initiate contact with students, okay, each and every student, so that there's contact with between the instructor and each student. And then you have to also create situations where the students interact with each other, okay? The law is just super vague. They don't give any like specifics on how often or how much or exactly what that looks like. And that is on purpose so that it works for every single discipline and every single course. It could be a little, you know, it's like a little frustrating, but it's just, it has to be that way so it works for everybody. But those are the two things that keep students engaged, and it's backed up by research, and it's also the law. So when you're doing a distance ed class, those are the things that you have to do. And that is even for hybrid courses. So when you have a hybrid course, the portion that is online is technically a distance ed course. And so that is what is required. Okay, so instructor presence. So how to establish your presence as an instructor. These are some things that you can do. And remember, you know, the goal here is you're trying to make it clear to show students that you are participating, you are engaged, you are paying attention to the class. I'm not going to comment on every one. I know you can read, but I do want to say something about responding quickly to student emails. Now, I know that not everyone is married to their phones like I am, okay? And I know that this can be challenging, and you might even feel like kind of resistant and kind of like, you know, irritated at the fact that I'm telling you to check your email often and respond quickly to emails. And, you know, I get that, I understand that. In order to maintain your sanity, especially right now, but especially if, you know, if you're stepping into a full-time job for the first time, it's going to get crazy. There's you're going to be very, very busy. But you have to set some kind of boundaries for yourself, or else it's going to get overwhelming. But If you're not used to just having email be part of your life 24/7, I'm going to recommend that you check your email at regular times, okay? Maybe twice a day, like Monday through Saturday. So you might check like first thing in the morning when you first get up, and then maybe again at like 5 p.m. Set a reminder for yourself, you know, maybe like have like a little alarm go off or something, and then tell your students in your communication policy when you're going to be checking so that they know when you'll be checking and they can expect it, and then stick to it. And then it'll just become part of your habit and you'll just start to do it automatically. It may seem like a pain at first, but it can be a huge time saver for you. So when, and I don't say if, I say when there is a problem in your course, so like a broken link, you forget to turn something on, something gets messed up, and trust me, it is impossible to not ever make any of those mistakes. Even if you've been teaching online forever, ever, it will happen. So if you can catch that when the first one or two of your students emails you to let you know, rather than waiting that 24 to 48 hours after like half or 3/4 of your classes emailed you, it is much better and much more efficient for everyone. And I call those first students my canaries. Those are the ones, and it's always the same ones, same couple, that immediately after I publish that module, they go in there, they're like waiting for me, and they go in there, they get into it, and they see like all the problems, if there's any problems, and they email me, they let me know, and I just email them back. I thank them profusely, and I just think of them as my partners, because they're helping me and they're helping the whole class. Okay, now social presence. So this is how you help students feel like they are part of a community of learners. And the easiest way to accomplish that is through discussions. So that is why online classes have discussion boards. Be careful about your discussion prompts though. You want to make sure that they're open-ended enough so that each student can kind of like draw on their experience and have something like original or unique to say. So if you're looking at your, your prompt and there's like a right answer and a wrong answer, it's probably maybe not a good discussion prompt. Maybe it would be better for like an assignment, or maybe you could even take it and make like a group, a small group, and have just like 4 or 5 students in a group doing that discussion instead. Some students will say, they really will, that discussions are their favorite part of the class, and then some students not so much. So, anything you can do to make your topics fresh and original is great. So, do talk to your colleagues about sharing in discussion topics. Try to make those as fun, original, fresh as you can. Okay, empathy. Being an empathetic instructor does not mean being an easy grader, okay? It just means that you care that they're learning. So you probably do care about your subject matter. Yeah, you're probably real passionate about it, and you probably are excited about it. And I know I get like that. And especially like if there's like a week when I'm covering my favorite topic in class, and I can, it's like I can tell like the students also get excited about it. It's kind of like contagious, You'll also see that if you are very passionate and you care about the students, learning, that the students will also start to care about their own learning, and they'll care about each other's learning. and it is, that becomes contagious, and it really, really does work. Okay, so some real specific things that you can do to show empathy here. And I just want to say a note about phone calls. And I am really a person who hates making phone calls. It's not my favorite thing. But if you can get a hold of a student who is like right on the edge on the phone, and just check in with them and say, maybe you've noticed that they've been struggling. Maybe you wanted to offer them some help, some encouragement. Maybe you wanted to give them like an additional resource that they might need, or to like offer to jump on a Zoom chat with them to go over something, or maybe even give them like a grace period or a do-over on an important assignment, you know, something like that. That student is going to remember it for the rest of their life. Okay, now, where are you going to be able to find those phone numbers? So on WebAdvisor, they do have phone numbers listed. However, those phone numbers are not always up to date. And unfortunately, for our most vulnerable students, those are the ones that don't always have a good, consistent, up-to-date phone number. It's always worth a try. But one thing that you can also do is at the very beginning of your class, when you're collecting, you know, some kind of like diagnostic or background information on your students, you can also ask them to, you know, along with collecting like their, you know, their name, maybe their preferred like nickname or pronouns, or, you know, anything like maybe like if they work, how many hours they work. You can also ask them for a most current phone number. And then that way, if the phone number that's on WebAdvisor doesn't work, you can have something that's more current. Okay, awareness, that just means that you're aware that they exist as a person, you're aware of their progress in the class, you know, to the best of your ability. And obviously this is going to be easier for some classes than it is for others. I tend to teach smaller classes, being, you know, an English teacher, EMLS teacher. Our classes don't usually go over 35, so it's not as challenging for me. But if you do teach larger classes, Canvas does have some kind of shortcuts that you can do, even if your class is really large. For feedback, tracking, sending all different kinds of messages, Canvas has these different shortcuts. And, you know, obviously you can follow up with check on students who are struggling. And of course, you know, you want to do that. That's important to, you know, offer them help, maybe, you know, grace periods, do-overs, all of that kind of thing. But I also wanted to remind you to give kudos to students who are performing well, especially if you notice improvement in a student. Receiving a positive note from an instructor has a huge impact on students, and especially those who've mostly gotten negative or no feedback in the past. It can really just turn someone's whole perspective around about their education. It's really, really powerful. I've had the most probably emotional responses from students coming back when I give them kudos. Okay, so these are different features in Canvas, and there's links for all of them. There's something called the Canvas guides. They're just really, really excellent, really easy to follow. If you're not familiar with Canvas, I recommend getting in there and, you know, using them. Also, the Canvas helpline, which is located on the left-hand side menu, whenever you have Canvas open, is really good. Those people know what they're doing. They know, they are experts. They know how to help you with all kinds of strange issues. I recommend trying to call during the week and during the day. I've noticed that the techs that work during the business hours are more knowledgeable than the overnight ones. Just that's been my experience. Okay, so we don't have time to go through all of these, but I do want to emphasize probably the most powerful tool that Canvas has for interacting one-on-one with students, but it's kind of a cheat. It's kind of a shortcut. Students may think that you're interacting one-on-one with them, and that is messaging from the gradebook. So definitely look at this. It is so cool. You can, when you're inside your gradebook, you can click on this. It's like a click, click, 2 clicks, and you can really, really easily message students like the day before something's due, give them a little friendly nudge, reminding them to turn something in if there's something important that's due. You can message students who maybe after something is due or after they've completed something, students who have received above a certain score to give them kudos. You can message students who receive below a certain score if you want to let them have a do-over. I mean, you can almost set it any way that you want. It's just like so easy to do. I mean, literally like a couple clicks, and then you can set your message however you want, and it's super, super time saver, and it will go out to, you know, one student or half your class or 3/4 of your class or whatever. Really, really cool. Also, I want to encourage you to take some time, if you're new to Canvas, to set your notification preferences. So once the semester starts going, and if you're new to Canvas, you might start receiving a lot of annoying emails from Canvas, or maybe it's from Instructure. Trying to think of what it might be called. But if you start to do that, you're gonna wanna fix it, okay? So go in and check that out. There's like this grid, and they have all these little checks. You can set them so that you receive notice an email right away, at the end of the day, at the end of the week. I don't even know who would want that, or not at all. I have all of mine turned off, except I want to receive a message, an email immediately when I get an inbox message, and that's called conversation message. I don't know why they can't just say inbox message, but whatever Canvas. And then when a student makes a comment on an assignment, and that's called submission comment. And that's it. I don't want anything else. I get too many emails as it is. But you know, do check it out, play around with it, and see what you like. I also tell my students about this because I send a lot of announcements, and I want them to see my announcements when I send them. And I don't want them to tune out my announcements because they're getting, you know, all these different you know, emails every time I make like a little change in the course or whatever. I don't, you know, unless they want to see that. So I want them to make the decision about what emails they're getting and why. Okay. And again, all of these, you know, links are in the PowerPoint and also on the document that Susie put in the chat, and then on the Padlet as well. Okay. So, now we're going to get into this checklist for starting the semester. Okay. Now, this is in no way like required. You're not going to get in trouble if you don't get your, like your welcome letter out by such and such a date or this or whatever. These are really just guidelines. Okay. The intention here is that this is not something that that you must do. I'm just trying to let you know that this is what students will expect from you. Okay. So hopefully by Friday, maybe by Saturday at the latest, you'll want to publish your courses. Okay. If you don't have something out by Saturday, and maybe even if you don't have the course published, you should at least send an email. And again, you can go into WebAdvisor and you can send an email to your students through WebAdvisor if you absolutely can't do that. If you don't do that, you probably will start getting emails from students asking, what's going on with the course, where is the course? They just start to get nervous because they're expecting something and they're just not sure where the class is. So when you publish, you definitely don't have to have your whole class built out. You don't even have to have any modules ready or anything like that. You want to probably aim for a welcome announcement, maybe like a homepage with a welcome message, maybe your syllabus probably up, or maybe you want to have some instructions or some information on when you're going to have, the first assignments ready. And then maybe some information on how you're going to have things organized. As long as students can see that course on their dashboard, and then when they go in there, they can just see a little bit, and then they know that the course is there, they know that the course is going to happen and that they're in it, they're going to be comfortable. Okay. If you can have like a nice friendly welcome message, that's great. If you can do like a little video, that's even better. But the very first one, keep it short. Okay. This is not where you want to put like all your policies and your whole entire syllabus. This is your first impression. So you want to be pretty thoughtful, but keep it short. And you do also want to tell them when they're going to hear from you again. Okay. You can send it through the inbox to them, and you can also post it as an announcement, and realize that if you do that, most students are going to get it twice. And that's not necessarily bad, but just realize that they're going to get it twice, because that's how they have their notification preferences set up. Okay, Monday is the first official day of asynchronous classes. So you probably want to have the first week's assignments or like the first module available for them, or at least information on when that's going to be ready. And if you do have a synchronous or hybrid class, or like any class where you have a set day and time to meet, you can probably wait and to publish or get ready the first assignments on that day, or at least you'll you can communicate on that day when. But on Monday, you want to have some kind of communication for them. And here I've got a list of some possible first assignments that you could have. But you should think about using one of these as your first attendance or your first like check-in to the class assignment that you use for attendance. And then you want to make that so clear, like blast it out everywhere in all your announcements, all your videos, your messages, put that everywhere. And indicate, put it in your drop policy, just put it everywhere. That is going to really simplify things on your end when you're cleaning up your roster. You will have some no-show students, okay? You don't want to keep those students on your roster for too many days. There's no like official FCC policy for how long you have to give students before you drop them, but your department or your division might have a policy. So make sure that you check with your department chair if you haven't heard anything. And if your department doesn't have a policy and you're just really struggling, you know, you just don't know what to do, just talk to your department colleagues, you know, someone in your department, and just borrow that policy for right now. And you'll, you know, figure out your own policy, what makes sense for you. You don't want to have students who maybe at one time signed up for the class and then, you know, don't have any intention of taking the class. You just don't want to keep those students on your roster. And then you probably already discussed this in the syllabus review from the other day or the other week or whenever that was, but you know, you kind of want to shy away from language like, you know, if you do not complete this assignment, you will be dropped from this course. And then instead of like language like that, just give a rationale on why it's really important for you to know who's attending. So let me just read the language on my first day of class assignment, and I'll just tell you what it is. Okay. So this is what my says. Completing this assignment lets me know that you want to remain in this class. If I don't hear from you and I see you haven't completed this assignment, I will send you an inbox message asking if you need any assistance. If I still don't hear from you by the end of the week, I may drop you from the course because I don't want to give you a failing grade if you can't continue my class. Once you have been dropped, it is possible for you to be reinstated, but it requires extra steps on my part and yours. So that's just my little blurb. And if you, you know, really need that, I can, it's, you know, I can email you that exact language if you're really, really interested in that. It's not anything special or anything. Okay. And then you also really want to give some tutorials for your students. So the Canvas user guide for students is just like really excellent. Like I said, you know, the reason that Canvas was chosen as the main LMS for most all California community colleges is it's very intuitive, it's very easy, and it has these fantastic user guides that are really, really easy. They have videos along with them. They have these step-by-step instructions that are have pictures that are so easy to use. They're updated constantly. And so what you don't want to do is spend your time writing out instructions. Instead, link to them, because when they do make a change in Canvas, the user guides are automatically updated. So that way, you know, you're always going to be up to date and you don't have to worry about that. The search feature in the Canvas guides works really great also. So it's just, yeah, it's just really, really good. So what you can do is actually just take these, you know, this list right here, and you can just copy and paste it right into a Canvas page, announcement, just like this. The hyperlinks should come right into it and give it right to students like this. The student or the virtual hub for students is found on the left-hand side menu anytime you have Canvas open, and it just has all kinds of student resources. Definitely you want to point that out to students if they don't see it. There's you know, a lot of little icons over there on the side, so it might get lost, but there's just you know, a ton of important things for them. So that's going to be an important thing that they will need. Probably returning students will probably be familiar with that, but I believe it had a different name, maybe last year or in the fall semester. So might have, used to be called the Student Support Hub, I believe, with a little different picture. Okay, and then the very last thing that I want to give you is some information on how to make videos using Zoom. I really want to encourage you to, if you're not comfortable making videos, I want to encourage you to try at least make a welcome video. It's a really, really nice thing to do for your students. Just really puts a human presence in your classroom. Your videos shouldn't be long. They should be really short. So just make a really short little one. Just say hello. It's a very, very nice thing to do for students. These are some resources for you. Using Zoom is just the easiest way to do it. And here are some resources for you. Okay, putting closed captions on your videos. So probably the easiest thing to do for closed captions is to make your video in Zoom and then to upload it on YouTube. And all the instructions are here. Now, the law about closed captions is that if your video is like a one-off announcement or like a one-off feedback that you are not going to be using again, and also you do not have any students in that particular class that require the accommodation of closed captions, then you don't have to have them. However, it's always a good idea to put closed captions on any video that you plan to use more than once, because you never know if you're going to have a student in the future who's going to require them. And so Susan Ariola, the DSPS director, mentioned those DSPS forms that we get. Sometimes it may be a couple weeks into the semester even, and you will be confronted with a student who requires an accommodation. You did not even know that you had a student in your class, and suddenly you are now required by law to make this accommodation for the student, and you have to. So DSPS can help you with that. But if you already have captions on your videos, then you don't have to worry about it. You're already set. Also, using closed captions is just good UDL, which is Universal Design for Learning. So all students benefit from those, not just those that are legally required. For example, they could be English learners who are going to understand the content better when they read along with listening. They could be students who are like riding the bus, and so there's a lot of background noise, and they're like trying to like watch your video while they're reading, while they're riding the bus, and they're, it's just impossible for them to listen. So they need to read to get the content. They could be students who have a newborn baby at home, and so they're trying to study while they're like, feeding their baby, and they're trying not to wake their baby in the middle of the night. So those are all students who are going to really benefit from the captions, but they don't legally require them. So I just encourage you to try to put captions on your videos whenever it is possible for you. Okay, and then,
Kelly,
yes.
Michael has a question. Is 3C no longer doing the captioning?
That changes like every year. I don't know the answer to that right now. That's an excellent question. Last year they did extend, the grant was going to be cut off, and then they extended it because of COVID. So I don't know. We could probably Google that during the next presenter and figure that out real quick. But yeah.
May I add something real quick?
Yes.
I just switched over to Canvas Studio and their captioning is super fast and well, in my opinion, way more accurate than YouTube. So I think for like, I made a 3-minute video yesterday, and I think I had the captions were done within, I think, 5 minutes or less. And then I was able to go in and edit them really quickly. So just throwing that out there as someone who's used, you know, some pretty extensive videography and video editing, I have completely switched over to Canvas Studio.
Cool. Yes, very cool. Yes. So let me just really quickly, I know I'm on the questions slide, but let me go right here. And I'm going to give you Sue Yang's information, and then also the virtual hub for faculty. They will for sure. Okay, so the virtual hub for faculty is not live yet. Okay, Sue Yang, I think I may have mentioned this earlier. So she's our instructional designer at Fresno City College, and she is the person who does most of our, well, she does our certification for online, and then also does a lot of our distance education and online workshops. And for sure, I know this past year she did a lot of the Canvas Studio workshops, so there will be no doubt on this virtual hub for faculty, there will be information about Canvas Studio. I'm sure she'll have workshops on Canvas Studio up here. There will be information about that. Probably a little more of a learning curve on that, but yeah, it's really really cool. Canvas Studio is really cool. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So other questions? I see. Okay, I can see the chat is like ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carlos has a question. Does Zoom support real-time polling?
Support what?
Real-time polling. You know, you can set your poll up ahead of time, but so does it support real-time? Like I'm talking and all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's do a poll. Does that work?
So can you make a poll like on the fly? Is that so that's what you mean? Yeah, I mean you can. It's like you have to like stop and put it together, but yeah, you could do that, right? Yeah.
And Michael has a question. Where do they get Canvas Studio?
Emily.
Yes. Sure. So what I've found, so I took a course where it was actually embedded on the main side panel of Canvas, but I don't see it on ours. So what I found I had to do was I had to go into a course, and you know, in the settings where you can add, you know, whether you want your students to see modules or announcements or whatever, if you go into that part of your settings and drag the studio up into the viewable area, then you can actually get into it. So I don't know if there's another workaround, or if yeah, someone from DE could answer that question a little better. But that's how I have figured out how to get into it from our setup.
Same thing here. You have to go into a course to get to it. Other colleges have it on the main global navigation, but for some reason, Fresno City's only in the course. But once you go into that, you can get into your main library and set everything up there.
Yeah, yes, and then from there you can also, because if you create something specifically for a course and it's in the course library, but you can move it into your main library. So if you have, you know, for example, I think mine was how to make a video discussion board post. I was able to move it into my main gallery and then move it into multiple courses.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sally. That was a lot of information. but I know it's some of the most important information for instructors, particularly as they're getting ready to launch classes over the weekend. So as you know, Sally is a support person for you. So is the distance ed office and our instructional designers and people in your departments and your divisions are also support people for you. And we will have all of this information for you. Yes, and John Wilson is a great support for our faculty as well with Canvas. So we are very excited to get all of this information. So take a deep breath. You know, if you want to stand up and, you know, do some stretching, we're not going to take a little break because we're only on for another, 30 minutes or so, but if you need to stand up or move around or, stretch, those kinds of things, we want you to do that. So tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about faculty support. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it today. Obviously, everyone today is support for you as faculty, but there are some other people that we want to highlight, and we will work on that tomorrow. I do want to spend just a few minutes talking about harassment, discrimination, and Title IX. I know that sounds so exciting, doesn't it? So I want to talk a little bit about how things are organized. I want to introduce someone that those of us that work with Title IX regularly are very excited about having this person on campus. And we are just thrilled to have her here. And that is Gladys Dalsanofit. Did I pronounce it close?
Yes, you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So here at Fresno City College, how we've operated in the past up until about 7 weeks ago, is each of the deans, not all of the deans, some of the deans are trained as Title IX investigators. I am one of those. And then one of our deans was also the Title IX coordinator, and that was Lorraine Smith, the dean for Allied Health, Athletics, and Physical Education. And but we are a huge college, and when we're face to face, we have more than our share of Title IX issues. And so we have campaigned for 2 years to have a Title IX coordinator that's their only job. They don't have to do that in addition to all their other hats. And that is why Gladys is here. And I'm so excited that she is. Before I let her talk about Title IX, I want to, Ray, if you'll let me share my screen, I want to just show everyone where they can go find information about Title IX. And I'm quite sure this is an area that Gladys is going to be working on as she gets into things. But here on our main website, you'll see About, and you will see here Title IX. And that is where we have information about Title IX, rights and responsibilities, all of those kinds of things, policies and procedures. We do have a student code of conduct. Dean Henderson, Sean Henderson, is our Dean of Students, and he is our primary disciplinarian when we need one on our campus. And it's amazing why we need one with adults, but we do. So you can find information here about Title IX and some of those things that we have. We have a variety of issues and things that get covered. One of the things is talking about sexual harassment and sexual discrimination, and there's a difference in that. So I'm going to let Gladys talk for a few minutes. Gladys, you have 5 minutes to tell us everything you know about Title IX, but give us the highlights and let us know what your role is.
Okay, well, hi everyone. My name is Gladys. If you can't remember my name, or if you feel intimidated by the way it looks, just think of gladiator and just take out the "ater" part. But I am the Deputy Title IX Coordinator here at Fresno City College. I'm very excited to have gotten this opportunity to work with you all and to ensure safety on our campus, not only for our students, but for the employees as well. So just a little bit about Title IX. I know Donna showed everyone here how to get to the Title IX webpage. And on that webpage, you're also able to make a report or file a report if need be. And if you need more information on Title IX and who to contact, my information is on there as well. And then also additional resources, whether that's on campus or off campus, if you need support and say something did happen to you and you want to talk more about it. And so that's a very good page to go and look at. So Title IX, what is Title IX? It basically was created back in the 70s, I believe 1972. And it just protects people from discrimination based on sex, regardless of gender identity or orientation in educational programs or activities. And I know you guys probably heard this in the new higher orientation, and you'll hear it a lot throughout, just over the years in training and on campus. But Title IX is very important because it does deal with sexual assaults and sexual harassment and different types of sexual misconduct as well. And, if something does occur on campus or even off campus, make sure you call 911, make sure you contact somebody, whether that be a friend or a family member, contact me. You can contact psych services as well. We're all here for you. And you'll be getting more information on it, on Title IX and what it is and what rights you have under Title IX through our website. We will be revamping the website and ensuring that, all the information there is needed for you. And I also will be going around and doing some presentations on Title IX. So hopefully we'll get to see each other in person. But I just kind of want to leave everyone with just be aware of your surroundings, trust your feelings, talk to people. Don't always be looking at your phones when you're walking to your car or walking to, your destination. Just be alert, be aware of your surroundings, and just be safe. Thank you.
So, thank you, Gladys. One other thing I'd like to add or ask you about. So if I'm an instructor or, I'm the office specialist in an office, and let's say a student reveals something to me about something, what should I do?
Definitely talk to the student, see where, how they're feeling. If they are afraid, if they feel safe, ask them what they would like to do. And then also, just tell them or suggest to them, maybe you should talk to your Title IX coordinator, which is me, or the campus police, if they feel comfortable in doing so. But as a person who has been given the information, you're called a responsible party. And if you feel like you need to, you can also file a report on behalf of that person, whether it's to me or to campus PD. And then, we will do our investigation as needed.
Okay, great. So she's a great resource for you as well. Thank you very much, Gladys. Appreciate it. I'm glad we all got to meet you today. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. So our next section is we are going to introduce you to our constituencies and roles. I have a hard time with words today. So we have with us for this section, we have Michael Takeda. He is our Academic Senate President. We have Classified Senate President Susie Nitzel, and we have the Associated Student Government Vice President Ernie Martinez. And they are each going to share for a few minutes about 10 minutes between the three of them to just talk about their roles and what that means for you as new employees. I don't know who's going first. So Michael, you're first on the list. So you want to start?
Sure. So welcome everyone. I was in the meeting it was in the orientation yesterday. So I was able to speak with some of you and to meet some of you. So welcome again. Thank you so much for participating in this new Employee Equity Academy. This is, a lot of work has gone into this. There's been, some some work between the Academic Senate and obviously the Office of Equity with Dr. Ramirez, as well with Donna and Susie and so many other important people that have worked on this. And so we're really happy that you can participate in this. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know we're getting close to the end of the day, but I dropped into the chat the Academic Senate 10+1. So just very quickly, the 10+1 are the academic and professional matters that are that the Academic Senate is concerned with. Soon you're going to be able to meet Keith Ford, and Keith will tell you about the union. Really, I mean, just on a very basic level, if we think about the distinction between the two, the Academic Senate and the 10+1 issues on that list, again, concern academic and professional matters, whereas the union deals more with working conditions. Now, oftentimes the two overlap, and there are many areas where something that may be happening on campus will be of a concern both to the Academic Senate and the union, and both will have to weigh in equally. And that can get confusing at times, but for the most part, anytime there's anything happening with academic and professional matters that you are concerned about on campus or that you're interested about, the Academic Senate meetings are every other Wednesday during the semester from 3 to 5 p.m. I will be, once I stop speaking, I'll start posting some more links to some of our meeting dates and your opportunities to join our meetings. The Academic Senate meetings are open, so you're always able to join any of those meetings, even if you are not an official senator of your department. That being said, I'd like to encourage any of you to not only join meetings, but consider becoming a senator to represent your department in the Academic Senate. I know some of you will probably quickly be tapped on the shoulder to do that by your department colleagues, but if you are not, again, I think it's a very, very important function of the campus, and so I encourage you to join. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or contact your senator to find out more. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Michael. Susie, do you want to talk with us about Classified Senate?
I was talking and I was muted. Hi, everybody. Susie Nitzel. I'm your professional development coordinator, but for classified professionals in the room, I'm also your Classified Senate president for 1 more year. And Classified Senate is the part of the participatory governance process that involves classified professionals, all classified professionals, including confidential employees that are not designated as management. And we offer, Classified Senate offers a means, we're an elected body. We have elections every spring. We offer a means for increased participation with our classified professionals. So if you're interested in becoming involved in Senate, please shoot me an email. I like to say, we offer a perspective in the planning process. Quite often when the planning process is occurring, the 3 most elevated views are, of course, the student, number 1, right? That's what we're here for. And then faculty and then administrators. But quite frankly, classified are the ones who make it all work behind the scenes. And so we provide that perspective saying, okay, you want to do this, but here's the planning, here's where your planning process, here's the logistics of it. So we meet the 3rd Wednesday of every month from 2 to 4, usually in the library conference room. We've been on Zoom for the last year. And we focus on issues related to the college and district planning processes. We also provide access to professional development funds. We offer every single classified professional $500 to pursue travel and conference. If you have a conference you want to go to and your division does not have that in your budget, you can apply for that with Classified Senate. And then we also provide training on job skills and stuff. And that's it. I'll turn it over to Ernie.
For sure. Thanks so much, Susie. Hello, everyone. My name is Ernie Martinez. My pronouns are he, him, and his. and I'm actually the ASG president for the 2021-2022 school year. And so just to tell you guys a little bit about what ASG is, it is a student governed body comprised of students from here at Fresno City College. They can either be elected in or sworn in after, I believe, August 17th. That's when we'll start gaining new members. And so what we do here at ASG is we try to make policies and decisions that are going to benefit not only the students, but the campus as a whole. So whether that be faculty, classified staff, basically anybody that steps foot on campus, we're here to kind of just do our best to make their lives easier here at Fresno City College. And so how we're planning to do this is we want to be a direct liaison between students and staff. And so I know we have a lot of new employees here. So I just want to let everyone know that here at ASG, if you need anything, if you guys need or have, if you guys have ideas I think could help the students, or you see things that are going on with student life or also faculty life, we're here to just help you guys out with whatever you need. It's no secret that ASG has always had a big budget compared to the other schools and have also had a lot of influence on decision making. So as a president, I'll be happy to help anybody out with that. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Ernie. So as you can see, this would be another part of your support system for you here at Fresno City College, is to make connections with your academic senate, your classified senate, and with our ASG. They are all a vital part of how we do business here at Fresno City. So thank you all. All right. So I would like to introduce two people to you to be able to chat with you for the next few minutes. And this is involving a contract in the union. So we have Keith Ford, who is the president of our faculty union, and we have Virginia Beamer, who is president of our classified union. That's not what it's called, but they'll tell you what the actual acronyms are. I don't have them in front of me. So I will turn it over to Keith, if you'll go ahead and just talk about what you want to share with us.
Sure, thanks, Donna. Do I have the ability to share my screen? Is that possible?
Yes, you do.
Wonderful, thank you, Susie. Okay, so, and then I would like to just kind of take in how many people there are. It's wonderful to see so many new names. A few of you I recognize, and I'm really happy that you're here. I am not going to take up too much time because I know you are drowning in information. I remember what this feels like, but let me just pause really quickly and say congratulations. All right, and you should all pat yourselves on the back. Being recognized by your peers and being given these jobs is no small thing. These are jobs people do not leave, and this is a great place to work. So congratulations. And if you get overwhelmed, remember you earned your place here. You belong here. So really quickly, I want to talk to you about State Center Federation of Teachers. I'm the president of our faculty union. There are 1,800 of us, about 650 full-time, and the rest are part-time. We have at present about 93% membership among the full-timers. Now, the reason I mention that is because I expect all of you to join to keep that number up, in fact, possibly to raise it. Let me tell you why. Okay, so there are 72 community college districts in the state of California. You would think in terms of rate of pay, right, based off of standard of living, that Fresno would be probably on the lower end. We're not. Okay, consistently for the last 4 years, we have ranked between 25th and 30th in the state for community college pay. That is because of our membership numbers, because of our negotiation power. Let me give you a good counter example to that. So full-time contract is separate from part-time contract. You negotiate those separately. Our part-time membership is right around 55%, significantly lower. It's harder to organize part-timers. Those of you who had been adjunct know how hard it is to connect to anything meaningful. So I said 25th to 30th for the full-timers in terms of salary statewide out of 72. The part-timers for the last 5-10 years have been at 67 out of 72. I don't think there's any other better reason for you to join the union or better example as to the power of collective bargaining. Okay, it is a direct correlation. So what I want you to do, I know you're all sitting in front of your computer, so you can do this right now. Go to scftunion.org, hit the join button, and then fill out a very short form. Most of it already populates. You don't have to know the union name. You don't have to know the local number. Everything else goes directly to us, and your union dues start to come out right away. Okay, and your next check, they'll start to come out. We can talk more about union dues later on. It's minimal compared to pretty much every school district in the area has higher dues than we do. There's all of my information, my name, just in case you don't know it or you forget, my personal email, my personal cell phone, and the office phone number, and again, the web address. Two other things just to point out. The most relevant part of the contract that you all as new employees want to take a look at is Article 13. That's the evaluations section, okay? We do not lose employees. We do not lose employees unless they have a problem with that, unless they don't pay attention to that. And even then, I have personally, so I've been in this position for almost 4 years. I've lost 2 out of about 70. I'm not going to lose any of you. Pay very close attention to that section. Okay. The other thing that comes along with union membership and benefits to union membership are, you just had a brief Title IX presentation. There is nothing scarier than having a Title IX investigation done against you. I'm not saying that some investigations do not have merit. I am not saying that all claims shouldn't be followed up upon, but we will represent you in those processes. And we have a lawyer on retainer who's been with us for years and years. We will offer his services to you free consultation for members, not for just anybody. Okay, so you do have to sign up and you do have to be a member, and we will walk through those processes with you. Also, if you have a complaint against the district, which fortunately doesn't happen very often, we will walk through those regardless of whether or not they pertain to the contract. We will help you with that. Okay, we defend the contract, but we will also defend you and help you. So I think that's probably enough from me. Give me a call anytime. Michael is right. There's a lot of overlap between Senate and the union. If you get stuck though, don't worry about bothering me. Okay, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'm available. Nice to meet you all, and I hope to see you soon face to face.
Thank you, Keith. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay, good. So my name is Virginia. My name is right there. It says everything. This is all of my information. And just like what Keith was saying, for classified, we do the same thing. We don't have that 11+ thing, which is pretty sad, because that's where, you know, the faculty gets all their power from, and I'm just super jealous of that. But you get me. I have a big mouth. I am not afraid to say what it is that everybody's thinking, but nobody wants to say. And I will do that to the president, to the vice chancellors, to the chancellor. I have no problem being outspoken because I come in on time. I do what I got to do. There's no complaints against me, and I'm not afraid of losing my job because I have the union to back me up. But we are, oh my God, I hate this. So we do a lot of, we're there just like, you know, for the classified, and we've actually had some grievances overturned in our favor and went all the way up, and we'll continue fighting until we get, you know, the result that we want. So yeah, email me. If you guys want to chat, you guys have some questions, just email me. I like doing that better. And nobody wants to answer questions or ask questions when we're on a big old thing like this. You guys have been doing this all day. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But for all my classified people, if you guys want to join the union, there are a lot of benefits. We do great things. I have a big mouth. I will fight for you to like the end of the earth. as long as you do your job too. So, but yeah, just shoot me an email. All of my information is up there. And yeah, we can just go from there. I don't want to take too much of you guys' time, but yeah, good luck. Congratulations. You guys did earn it, just like Keith said.
Well, thank you so much, Virginia. Thank you so much, Keith. That brings us to the tail end of our time together today. It looks like we are going to end early. Like we said yesterday, that is not a bad thing. We like to start on time and we like to end on time. And you know what? If we finish early, that's also good. So thank you to all of our presenters, and we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're looking forward to wrapping up our last day of the New Employee Equity Academy. Just like today, we have a jam-packed schedule. So please try to be here on time and we'll start right away. We have several presenters coming in tomorrow, and we'll conclude tomorrow's presentation and discussion with a survey. You might be wondering why you probably didn't receive an evaluation survey link for the previous 2 days, but we did that by design and intentionally. We want you to use the time that's already set aside for the workshop tomorrow, our time together, and fill out the form then. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. For now, enjoy the rest of the day, and I'm wishing you all the best. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.